I'm back. Jack Remington of the Jack Remington Political Analyst Channel. I'm fired up. There's a lot going on. I can't let the stuff go. I was going to take a long break, but you know what? They keep dragging me back in. So I'm back in. This video is the January of 2025's Jackass of the Month. Now, I had 5 videos last year for Jackass of the Month for the year 2024. My dog passed and I had another funeral to go. Had some problems last year, like we all do. Took a couple breaks. And I was going to take a long, permanent break. Circumstances are not allowing that. There's a lot going on. I need to come back. So I'm back. And I'm back with a vengeance. I had 5 of these videos last year for Jackass of the Month 2024. And YouTube took 4 of them down while I was on my little vacation. And they didn't even give me any notifications. I searched all the emails and the spam and the folders and everything else. Promotions and nothing. I did get some complaints about all of them. They would write on my site, you blah, 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 you white supremacist, you racist, blah, blah, blah. Because I had some black women on there. And one of them was Ketanji Brown Jackson, the Supreme Court Justice. And I think it was the first one that was taken down. Because Leticia James is the only video standing, she wins Jackass of the Year for 2024 by default. The lady, the pink-haired, spike-haired, tattooed and metaled-up overweight ladies at the YouTube Center in San Jose where we're at, edge of Silicon Valley, just saying, you know what, Leticia James is kind of bad. Let's leave that one up there. So, thank you for leaving that one up there, ladies and pink-haired girls from YouTube, spike-haired and everything else, and tongue rings, and I bet they smell too. Anyway, I'm gonna play some clips here, and after you watch these clips, you're gonna see that Joe Biden truly is the worst of the worst. Didn't even contact the victims of the family. Didn't do. He doesn't care about them. He only cares about himself and his son Hunter. That's all he cared about. And Joe Biden will go down as the worst president in history.
Joe Biden commuted the death sentences of 37 death row inmates just 2 days before the families of their victims gather for Christmas. Biden defending his move, explaining, quote, "I condemn these murderers and grieve for the victims of their despicable acts, but guided by my conscience and my experience, I am more convinced than ever that we must stop the use of the death penalty." Joining us now are Heather Turner, Katie Jenkins, and Danny Major, the daughters and husband of Donna Major, who was murdered back in 2017 in a bank robbery by a career criminal whose sentence was just commuted by President Biden. I'm sorry to be talking to all 3 of you under these circumstances. I cannot even put myself in your position to know how difficult this would be any week, but especially Christmas week. Heather, what was your reaction when you heard the news?
Anger, absolute anger. We were told from our prosecution team on Sunday afternoon. I was actually gathered with my in-laws for our family Christmas. My sister was gathered with her in-laws, and we got the call, and I was angry. I'm still angry. I am upset that this is even happening, that one man can make this decision without even talking to the victims, without any regard for what we've been through, what we're going through. I'm completely hurt, frustrated, and angry.
So, Heather, nobody gave you a heads up that this was coming from the White House?
So in May, we heard that this was a possibility. And at that point, we began writing letters to the pardon attorney. I reached out requesting an in-person meeting in D.C., and we were refused. They denied our right to have our voices heard. We're victims. My mother was murdered at the hands of Brandon Hansel. They should have heard our story, and all we got was a 10-minute virtual conference, and clearly that fell on deaf ears. They did not want to hear our story.
Danny, Joe Biden, or whoever made this decision, because it is entirely unclear whether this came from him directly or his people, he's showing mercy to your wife's killer. Was your wife shown any mercy?
She was shown no mercy at all. This man walked into the bank, never said 2 words to her, shot her 3 times in total, went and shot her coworker, Katie Skeen, as well, who was totally defenseless and unaware that anything was happening. It's just beyond me that I can't even believe that this has actually happened, a commuting of sentences like this of 37 victims. All but 3, which was certainly a political scheme, that undoubtedly. Joe Biden was also told by the Pope that he should stop these executions. Now, what the Pope has to do with anything in this country, I don't know. But Joe Biden certainly has no convictions. He's a senile old man. He couldn't tie his shoes, I wouldn't think, if you could see him in person. It's absolutely disgusting.
Katie, final question to you. The exact phrase used by the White House in their release announcing these pardons and commutations is that Joe Biden is committed to a fair and effective justice system. Katie, what about this is fair to your family?
None of it. None of it, because we didn't commit that crime. Brandon Council did. He made that choice that day, a crime that is punishable by the death penalty. 12 jurors unanimously voted for the death penalty. That is what was fair, and Biden took that away from us. A senile, old, incompetent man took that away from our family. Justice. Just like that, nothing. This is not fair.
Heather, Katie, and Danny, may the Lord show mercy upon your entire family the way the killer in the current White House has not. We wish you the very best.
Merry Christmas.
With regard to the question regarding the family, I'm extremely proud of my son Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know, and I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Mr. President, have you spoken to the Dershkovich family?
I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Does the president have any intention of pardoning him?
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
I want to make sure that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying it would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no, and I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No. I've answered this question before. It was asked of me not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago, and I was very clear, and I said no.
Possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son.
No.
Well, is there?
I just said no. I just answered. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Meantime, a former White House official says he wants to testify to a federal grand jury because he says he has information about then Vice President Joe Biden's role in his son Hunter's business. But he says the FBI has been ignoring him.
Former Obama stenographer Mike McCormick joins us now. Mike, thanks for being here. You say you are a witness to a crime. Walk us through why you say that.
Yes. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Todd. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
So in April 2014, I was in Air Force Two with Joe Biden and Jake Sullivan. At the time, no one knew that Hunter Biden was already on the board of Burisma Holdings, the natural gas conglomerate from Ukraine. Joe Biden is directing Jake Sullivan in the front of the plane what to say to the press. My job as a stenographer on the plane is to record what the vice president or a senior administration official says to the press. So I'm sitting back there with the tape recorder. Jake Sullivan comes back, and somebody asks him about fracking. His answer is, well, we're bringing a lot of American assistance over for fracking. Burisma was the direct beneficiary of that fracking. And that's what I recorded. And that's in a White House transcript. In the transcript, you don't know who Jake Sullivan is. It's a senior administration official. I'm the witness that says Jake Sullivan is the guy who said it, and he should be investigated because at the time, Hunter Biden was on the board of Burisma, and Joe Biden is bringing American taxpayer money to enrich that company and himself and his family.
Yeah, Mike, let me throw in a few dates here. Hunter joins the Burisma board April 18th, 2014. You have that conversation with Jake Sullivan April 21st, 2014, outlining how the U.S. would help Ukraine's gas industry with Joe Biden's help. Hunter's role not made public till May 12th, 2014. And then in December of that year, Congress approves $50 million to support Ukraine's energy sector. Ashley.
You know, Mike, my biggest question is, you said the FBI has been ignoring you. It's no secret right now that people don't have a lot of faith in the FBI. Would you tell them, and what did they say back to you?
Well, that's a great question, Ashley. I came across this story back in October. I published it in my Substack. My Substack is Midnight in the Laptop of Good and Evil. I didn't hear much about it. In February, I went to the FBI and filed one of their tips on their website. If you do that and you're lying to them, you go to jail. I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth, and I'm not going to jail. Joe Biden is a criminal. He was conducting malfeasance in office to enrich his family. Jake Sullivan is a conspirator in that, and there's more Obama officials involved in it, I believe.
So you are willing to go under oath to state that you are certain that this was a kickback scheme that Joe Biden was orchestrating, correct?
Correct. There's a grand jury right now in Wilmington, Delaware. They've been seated for 3 years with a special prosecutor named David Weiss. If David Weiss can't have me in front of his grand jury explaining what I know as a witness, that's a fraudulent grand jury. It's a fraudulent use of the American judicial system to cover for Barack Obama and Joe Biden's crimes in office.
You know, with everything you've said, do you think by you testifying, this would change this narrative? And I mean, frankly, a lot of us have already, we have thought this for a long time. We've always said it's not necessarily Hunter Biden, it's Joe Biden's ties to his business dealings. So do you think by you testifying that it would change this story?
So if I testify in front of a grand jury, there are two things can happen. Because I have a little bit of experience with grand juries. I used to be a stenographer listening to grand juries. I used to do transcription for the Lewinsky grand juries. I go back that far with stenographers. Two things can happen. One, what I say is evidence. So my testimony would be evidence. But I can also point them to other witnesses they can call into. Because a grand jury is an investigative tool. And if I went in there, I would tell them to have Barack Obama called in as a witness because he's part of the conspiracy. He's an ex-president. He has to answer who was in charge of this, putting Joe Biden into this role. Did Barack Obama know about it? Because there's evidence I've seen and put in my Substack on April 16th, so 2 days before Hunter joins. Joe Biden is with Hunter in the West Wing. They have a meeting. And then later that day, in the evening, Joe Biden spends a day in the limousine, in the back of Barack Obama's limousine in Western Pennsylvania.
Mike, we reached out to the White House for a statement, but did not hear back. Something tells me we have not heard the end of your story. Keep us posted. Mike McCormick, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mike.
Take care. Always a great day to be an American. I pinch myself, I'm an American. Thank God for America. And I'll see you in the next video.